Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Johnson?
Here.
Trustee Alpagianis? Trustee Andalay?
Here.
Trustee Wilbert?
Here.
Trustee Price?
Here.
Trustee Uska?
Here.
Trustee Huska, could you please lead us in the pledge?
Everybody who's able, please stand and join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving to approval of the agenda. Any additions, corrections, or deletions to tonight's agenda as drafted? Seeing no changes suggested, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Price. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item is approved. Moving on to President's Report, we have 2 oaths of office today. Joe, are we turning this over to Chief? Chief?
Thank you very much. So this is always an exciting time, particularly exciting for us because both Antonio and Garrett come to us as part of the Accelerated Entry Lateral Transfer Program. So that means they're already certified, experienced police officers that decided to come to West ND, and they don't have to go to the academy because they are Lent. They go right into field training. They'll be out on the street 16 weeks sooner than somebody who comes brand new out of the academy. Plus, we get that experience that they've already gained. So, very exciting for us, and thank you all for kind of helping make that happen with some of the recent changes that we made. So, first is going to be Antonio. Antonio Richardson, he and his wife Nicole, who's going to be pinning his badge, live in the area with their 5 children. So believe it or not, Antonio still has some spare time. And he's an avid outdoorsman, fishing, kayaking, sports with the kids. And something that I didn't know until just the last couple of days, but will become very popular around the police station. He's an aspiring pit master. So we're looking forward to the meat smoking. In addition to his nearly 4 years of service as a sworn police officer, Antonio was also a corrections officer for over 3 years. So excellent wealth of experience coming our way. And Todd Rowling from the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners is going to read the oath. So I'll turn it over to you to pin the badge. Hey, Antonio, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Antonio Richardson, do solemnly swear
I, Antonio Richardson,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the position of police officer for the Village of West Dundee according to the best of my ability.
lovely wife Nicole Richardson, my son Xavier Richardson, Valerie Hanley, and my daughter Olivia, my son Denzel, daughters Aria and Ryan.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
Hit my duty this weekend.
And next we have Garrett Petty, not quite quite as much as experience as Antonio, but still comes with police experience and is ready to rock and roll here. So that's very exciting. Garrett comes from a law enforcement, military, and medical family. His brother is a U.S. Air Force veteran. Mom and sister, emergency room nurses, and girlfriend, nursing student. And if that's not enough, his father and grandfather were both police officers. So in the blood, I guess, would be a safe thing to say. Will you cook anything? Because the bar's been set high. All right. That'll work. You cut up hot dogs in it so we can get all the kids? Okay, well, come on up. And Rose is going to,
Okay, Garrett, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Garrett Petty, do solemnly swear
I, Garrett Petty, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the position of police officer
the duties of the position
of the Village of West Dundee
in the Village of West Dundee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
You too.
Seeing you.
Sign now.
family and say hi to them.
So, my mom and my grandpa are right there.
Thank you, Chief. So those here for the swearing in, we understand that you probably don't want to sit around for the rest of the meeting, so feel free to depart. We'll just give you a couple minutes to head out if you'd like. Thank you.
There's a bunch of people outside over there in lawn chairs.
Chimney slips in back.
There's a whole group of people out there. I go, what are you waiting for the board meeting? They're looking at birds.
Yeah. All right, that is the extent of my report. Moving on to reports and questions from trustees and working groups, starting with trustee Enderle.
Just the agenda.
Thank you. Trustee Johnson.
One chief, where did Chief deploy? Oh, he left, okay. On our streets, the last 3-4 weeks, noticeable police presence, with just people driving around, sitting, watching speeds. Today I turned on 2nd Street, there was a car there, so appreciate the fact that it is making a difference. People are noticing what's going on.
Joe, you'll pass that along.
Yeah.
Anything else, trustee Johnson?
Nothing for anything for Heritage Fest, you can over here.
Nope, everything is moving along. I think we've got a few volunteer slots, mostly pop. Well, we're in good shape. The weather's supposed to be phenomenal for this time of year, so we're excited.
Just on that item, do we have the ticket sales, beer ticket sales, those are filled? Because last time I looked, there was still quite a few
A few
open.
vacancies, I didn't look at it
It was
as
a
of
couple
today,
days ago.
but I know, I can double check.
Okay, because I know those are, especially the evening slots, are
tone down the number of tickets because of the ticket sales positions, because of the card machines. It's
Goes
moving
a little faster, yeah.
Trustee Johnson, anything else?
No, that's it.
Trustee Eska?
I have nothing.
Trustee Price?
Nothing.
Trustee Wilbraham? Okay. All right, moving on to staff reports. Joe, anything to share?
Just if you haven't noticed, they are putting color on the tower, so if you get a chance, swing by. We have working on finalizing the logo positioning, but with Director Scott. But for the most part, that project is moving along very well.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, moving on to questions from the audience. This is an opportunity for those in the audience to address the board on items that are both on the agenda and not on the agenda. So we have 3 people signed up to speak to the board tonight. First off, we have Rod and Lauren Perrine. Rod and Lauren, just to note, comments are limited to 5 minutes, please. Okay.
I just wanted to say a few things. I know that just come to the last meeting and just clarify a few things and just feedback we've gotten back from the community and things that we are willing to do. We really would like for us to have our new location be down the street from us, and so I know the building vacate has been like a big, people, want to see it go up. That's seems like it's been a big sticking point. We are willing to do that. We would be willing to do it sooner than we initially thought. And in the meantime, we also will be investing. We would be willing to invest our own money to do a parapet, and so that the building would be more aligned with the downtown for the time being, just until we can get all that together to go up with it. We also want to talk about our concept. I know that came up last time, and the experiential business that is out there. We are wanting to do cooking classes there. I know Mark had brought up something, that YouTube, and it was like Manhattan. All we want to do is bring something else to enhance what we're already doing. We have a design studio. We plan to put a full working kitchen in there. And we just want to offer something else to our clients. We want another reason for people to come down to Dundee. And so I just wanted to clarify that. I know you brought up Williams-Sonoma. I worked at Williams-Sonoma for 8 years. That was a cooking demonstration. This is a cooking class. This would be for people to participate. We've already talked to other people who want to teach these classes. We have someone that's in one of our customers does cookies and gingerbread, at the holidays. So these would just be things that would enhance what we're already doing. We're not trying to make $1 million on cooking classes. We just want to do this into addition to what we are doing. Our hours, we are only open right now 12 days a month. And I think we do a great business knowing that that's what we're open. We are going to expand from Wednesday to Sunday, possibly Tuesday to Sunday, but that just so if there's any question about that, we are going to be expanding our hours. And the last thing I just wanted to say, as the board is thinking over their decision, I know that there's the other people that are going for this are great business owners. They would do a great job. We are going to be owner occupied, and I think that's really important. We are not looking for tenants. We are going to be in that space. And I do feel like that's really important. And we have to expand. We have outgrown our existing space. And so we really want to do that in West Dundee, and we'd love to be in that location down the street. So, do you have any questions for me?
Quick question. The first part, you said second story you're planning on doing right away?
Well, we would be willing to do that right away. If that's to
That's
get
the sticking point for us.
to get the
To
building.
get the building, then we'd be willing to go up with the building. If that's, and then of course, work with the village on what you would really like to see our new building look like. There's an historical section.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Right?
Okay, thank you both.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Next up, we have Tammy Coakley. Hi.
Good.
Doing well. How are you?
I'm here to speak on behalf of Lauren and Rod and Foxwood and their concept, and also working with them personally. Blair Modal and Andy Burns, obviously, I have utmost respect for them as well, and I know they would do a great job as well. But I'm speaking for the passion that I feel that Lauren and Rod would have for that space and how that space would relate to West Dundee, bringing a new concept, bringing in shoppers, hopefully bringing in more interest in stores wanting to come to Dundee. I've worked with them personally on my house on a business location in St. Charles. They've done an amazing, incredible job. They've been so incredible to work with. So work in West Dundee and make it another destination spot for Dundee, which I do think that we all would love to have, so. That is what I wanted to share with you guys, and I appreciate you guys listening and taking your time to make these decisions. I know they're really hard to make.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Next, we have Lisa and Mike.
You don't have to sit, Dewey.
No.
No.
I'm Lisa Burnell. This is my husband, Mike Foster. We live at 3rd Street, and we've lived in the township for 31 years. And we've had some issues with our neighbor directly to the north. And most recently, he's put down this center of our apron, what do you want to call it?
Like a barricade almost, with posts, chains, blocking our ability to back out properly.
And so we've come to the board because we'd like to get some clarification on what our rights are. We've tolerated this guy building what we believe are unpermitted aspects of his house. He's put in a pergola with a cement slab, and then he has re-guttered his garage, and his house and his property sits higher. All of that water runs off of his garage and has damaged our driveway, our apron. It washes all of our mulch down the street. And most recently was this barricade he's put down, the shared, I think you
It's
can
a
call it
shared
shared apron. And for whatever reason, he's not a great neighbor. He says we're not great neighbors, but and he was told by the village, at least that's what you were told, that he could file a permit to have a permanent structure placed on that apron. And we are here to ask that that not happen.
That's not true. Staff has been working with this for the last week. Director Mushinsky and Krista, we had a conversation with staff this morning. The village regulates the right-of-way and the approaches, so any permits or improvements in the right-of-way have to go through the village. There's no way that the village would approve any upright structures within the right-of-way. Whatever that was mentioned was not correct. We've been trying to assist both neighbors to try and find an agreeable solution, and we continue to try and do so.
Because in the ordinances for a driveway and the approach, it starts at 12 feet and it tapers out to 15. That would not allow for that because our approach is shared. So, just want to make that.
Joe, is Thomas their primary contact on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thomas, stand up.
Director Machinsky is your primary contact. Thomas, do they have your contact information? Okay, thank you.
My understanding is we drove by today,
Today, 12 o'clock at night.
Well, and we've already had car damage, so from it.
Sorry to hear that. Thomas is committed to helping you see this through, and the board is obviously now aware.
What do we do about the issues that we continue to have with unpermitted improvements?
That would be Thomas also.
Thomas.
So staff will need to assess it, and I don't doubt at all
He's
your
never posted one
witness.
in the window like we see for other
Sure.
work that's in the neighborhood. There's always something posted in the window. When we do work, we get our permit, we put it in the window. So not once have I seen it. And there's quite a few projects that have gone on.
So again, Thomas is the point of entry, and he'll keep us updated as well, and you're always welcome to come back if it's not resolved to your satisfaction.
Thank you.
All right, thank you both. Okay, moving on to consent agenda items A through D. Is there a desire by any board member to remove any of the items from tonight's consent agenda? Seeing no changes suggested, I'd entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items A through D.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second by trustee Anderly. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Eska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Andalay?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbur?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries. Moving on to resolutions and ordinances, item A, reconsideration of ordinance adopting lead service line replacement fee. Trustee Price, before I yield the floor to you, I did communicate with Trustee Alapajanis today via text, and she is unlikely to be joining us for this meeting or next one or two, due and owing fully to the fact that her husband just passed. So she did indicate that she wanted to be able to vote on this should it come to a vote again. So Joe, I know that you have a pre-con meeting tomorrow. If this item is tabled, what kind of position does that put you in?
Not a good one. We've pushed this 2 weeks based on the previous conversations for the board. Contractor is ready, willing, and able to move forward. There are certain time stipulations under the contract, so I'm not so sure that we can wait another 30 days to initiate the project, but I guess we can have a conversation with the contractor tomorrow.
We delayed the contract for 2 weeks to have this time. Pre-con tomorrow, we're gonna start collecting the accents and agreements and
Okay. All right, well, time restriction on this one, I guess, may dictate what we do tonight. Trustee Price, I'll yield the floor to you and let's have the conversation.
Sure. So, I voted at the previous meeting in favor of specific charges to the specific property receiving the improvements. But after the meeting, I talked with Andy a little bit, and I'd also had talked to you, Chairman Nelson, and President Nelson, and I thought some more about it, and I was persuaded by the argument that a village, we're a village, and there'll always be infrastructure repairs that are needed across the village, or repairs will be needed that happen to be, specific parts of the community. I mean, that happens all the time, and, in the past, we have not, us only charged that part of the community. The other thing that sort of on this is just compounding some of the communication challenges to the individuals that are needing the replacement. We did tell them previously, and certainly for good reason, if we do need to change, or, we did need to charge them, I think a lot had changed, so I don't necessarily feel bad about that, but it certainly does make it more complicated to have to, kind of change that message on that. And so just, I think it'd be more straightforward, if you will, if we don't have to make that change, or we don't have to charge just specific individuals. I also was sensitive to Charlotte Lapagianis's concerns in terms of spreading the cost across the community, and how she felt that was unfair, and some others perhaps as well. But when you take that $27 that would be assigned to just 450 homes within the community needing that replacement, and you spread that out over the 2,700 connections, that comes out to about $4.50. So a lot smaller impact if we spread it across the community. And for those reasons, and just kind of working together as a community, and where we have water towers and different things that are specific to different areas. Some parts of the town have water towers that need painting, other parts of town don't have water tower, it's on a well, and so there's just a lot of differences. And so I just came to the conclusion I felt better by just spreading the across the entire village. So,
Okay. Comments, questions?
My comments centered on the administration of how it was going to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna you have to go to the homeowner to get the entrance, you gotta go to the homeowner to get him to sign, right? That they're liable for that. So there's 2 signatures. That signature or that liability carries with the property. So when you go to sell, that carries and, you know, through title search or whatever, right? It has to be explained. I just think administratively, it's gonna be tough to manage that, right?
Yeah,
It's
and that
not
was-
that I don't wanna pay, right, cause I am impacted by that, right? And, you know, go with the board vote on, you know, I was willing to go with the board vote for the 5,000 or whatever, cause I know I have to get it done. But then again, you know, there are parts of the community that benefit from things that don't happen here and happen elsewhere. So that's where my head was last time we talked about it.
Yeah, and I agree with a lot of that, and I think too, just, you know, it may be hard enough getting all the signatures, and this, you know, potentially would make it harder to get those signatures and move forward with the project as a whole, so I'm in agreement. And just for the record, I'm not one that needs the improvements, so you know, this will, you know, raise my bill personally more than it would if I had voted the other way. So, you know, this is not necessarily a vote in my best interest, but I still think it's, you know, the right thing to do, so.
Additional comments?
Board's interested, then it would be motion to reconsider initiated by trustee Price.
So the motion would be is to, I guess, yeah, reconsider the previous vote and instead spread the cost of the lead service replacement across the village as a whole.
So we would need a motion to reconsider the first vote,
First.
and then if that passes,
Okay.
then a second motion on what you want to do, right?
Okay, thank
First
you.
motion would be motion to reconsider the ordinance adopting lead service line replacement, ordinance 2541.
All right, so moved.
Second.
Motion and a second by trustee Yaska.
Okay.
Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
Trustee Eska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Anderly?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbert?
No.
4 ayes, 1 nay. Motion carries.
Okay, I move to, do we even need a motion?
You do,
Okay.
yes.
All right, so I move to adopt,
Ordinance 25,
Okay.
amending the village's sewer and water code, which repeals ordinance 2541.
so moved. Thank you.
Second.
Motion and a second by trustee Yaska. Additional discussion or comment? Hearing none.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
Trustee Eska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Anderly?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbert?
No.
4 ayes, 1 nay. Motion carries. Moving on, do you have what you need to proceed tomorrow? All right, moving on to unfinished business, item A, 108, 110 West Main Street, consideration of redevelopment proposals. Again, at the outset of the last issue, I mentioned that trustee Alapajanis did ask if she could be present for this discussion, but also did not say when she might be able to return. This one is not as time-bound as the issue we just had.
So with that, I would, you know, in consideration of trustee Lapijanis, I would, you know, move that we table this item and to, you know, I guess maybe the end of October. Is that reasonable? Give her time get her affairs in order and grieving.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Going once?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Yaska. Comments?
I'd rather just get it over with, so, and, because I think we've been talking about it for a while, I prefer just to vote on it and be done. That's where my head is.
Yeah, I think it's just fair to give everybody a chance to vote on it. You know, we've accommodated others for, you know, you missed yesterday, we changed the meeting, we accommodated that. I feel like it's just in fairness, we should, you know, try to accommodate everybody,
So,
And I also think we don't have a large downtown, and the decision we make is going to impact that downtown. And I think it deserves a full board to make that decision.
Then we should have canceled the whole meeting, which we could have done. So we're making other decisions, and we just made one that alters a prior vote without her attendance. So now we're picking and choosing.
Trustee Underly.
Well, I mean, their lives are hanging in the balance waiting for this. Been going on for months and months and months, and you know, I think we all know how she was gonna vote, so
What happens if it comes out to a tie? We're still gonna be the same trick back.
then you'll have to break the tie.
No, I would be,
Oh,
if
you're
it were
gonna
3
be
to 3.
voting?
I'd have to.
There can't be a tie out of 5 votes.
We need 4 to pass though. Or to
No.
adopt any ordinance.
So you've made a motion, we have a second, we have a standing motion, let's at least address that one. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Price.
Did we not for the tabling?
Yeah,
Oh, for the tabling, yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Madam Clerk?
Trustee Price.
Aye.
Trustee Eska.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
no.
Trustee Underly.
No,
Trustee Wilbrandt. President Nelson.
Aye, so the motion's tabled, we'll what,
Or
3-3. What do we do now, council?
Discuss the item, and then a motion will have to result.
Okay.
If
All right.
So since the motion doesn't pass, we have to proceed with
Yep.
the item.
With the discussion at least.
Yeah.
So trustee Price, I'll yield the floor to you.
So I think all of these are good proposals, and I'm thankful to everybody that has submitted proposals with this. And I think, any of them could be good. However, as I shared at the last meeting when we discussed this, I did go through a scoring process that I felt was pretty objective, and, based on that, I, shared where my vote landed, and basically that was with the Sitewell proposal. The other thing I wanted to bring up is just in the past, our investments have always been targeted towards investment in the property specifically and not investment in the business. And in fact, we've never provided any sorts of, grants or other sorts of things, or even, loans that I'm aware of that go specifically towards the business and not towards the infrastructure of the building. And really, the reason for this is that, businesses come and go, but the property investment remains, and we get the increase in value in the building that helps property values, it helps, our tax revenues, and helps the, overall appearance of our downtown and other areas. So, that's where we focus it. So I think it's important we kind of focus on what it's going to, at least for me, is, what is going to give us the best, sort of building improvement to the downtown. And based on the investment numbers, the fact that the Sitewell project provides 2 stories of space, and the fact that all the 2 stories provide, sort of a consistent 2-story look along the block, again, further tells me that is the preferred project. I do appreciate coming in, in terms of your suggestion for 2. I think what's challenging to incorporate that is we've sort of got nothing solid, and that's probably one of the benefits we would have gotten if we would have delayed this, is given them chance to submit a proposal that, sort of revises, and we'd have to talk about process, I guess, in terms of fairness, but gives them, a chance to do something different, but we chose not to do that. I've also heard the argument that the Burnses have already received a lot of village assistance, and that we should instead give someone else a turn. I'm not really persuaded by that that argument. I mean, if all else were being equal, I would say absolutely, let's pick somebody that hasn't. But the fact is, the reason that they've gotten so much investment money is because they've invested so much, and I would hate to sort of penalize them for the fact that they've put in all kinds of investment and say, you've invested too much in our community, so we want somebody else doing a project, and that just doesn't seem fair to me. And we wouldn't want to penalize them for all the investment they made when, in my opinion, and based on the scoring that I did, that they have the best proposal. So, sorry for the long-windedness, but that is the rationale why I think that the Burns proposal is the superior proposal, and that's where I think we as a board, and certainly me, would vote to in terms of the direction we should go.
Thank you. Additional comments?
I like to have diversity of ownership. And it's not a good idea to have one family owning almost the entire downtown.
Yeah,
I mean, they have had a lot of investment from the taxpayers, so it's time to let someone else have a vision for the downtown besides one vision. That building it's beautiful, but it looks pretty much like the one across the street.
Yeah.
So there's not really a lot of difference there. And people don't come out for beautiful buildings unless you're going to Oak Park to look at Frank Lloyd Wright houses. They come out for what's inside the building. And as we can see, some of the, insides of the taco place is not really coming to fruition the way that we were told when we invested in that building. So it's time.
Yeah, and I agree with you in terms of the, having multiple ownership. I think I take exception with the word "let" because it's not that nobody else has been let invest in the community. They have chosen to do that. They, really, you could argue that they were the first ones to invest in significantly in our downtown with the Emmets property, and so I think that everybody's had a chance, and it's to do this, and they're the ones that have actually pulled the trigger and done these investments. So I think that's to say that that we've only let that they're the only ones who've let do this or given the chance to do this is just that's disingenuous. So
Frequently they come and go without anyone knowing they're available. I witnessed it for myself today. So
for which
I can't talk about it, but there's a building that could be available and will not be. And it was not publicized, it wasn't listed, so how would anyone know about it? If it just goes from one owner to whisper to the other owner, hey, I have this building, if you want it, let me know.
I don't, I think there's been a lot of great investment in West Dundee, right? And I applaud the fact that they are, that Andy has been investing in this town, right? I don't think, between the properties that he has, I think he's done a great job in getting those to look like, the downtown does. And here we have a situation where we have, two old dilapidated buildings, right? And we've got really 3 good proposals in front of us, right? I go back in kind of where I lean, and per my comments before, is I lean towards the boxwood concept, and I lean for that for a couple different reasons. The first reason, it's not necessarily, it's the concept of what they're trying to do. I think they've got 4 lines of business that they laid out between the wine bar, the experiential cooking, there's retail, and then their main business of cabinetry. I think those kind of go all together and really will provide a diverse experience for the community. And I think it would benefit far more people than the other concepts that were provided, right? And you know, when I do my thing talking to people, you know, I lay out the concepts and by far that's the one that people, I would do that. I would come downtown for that. I would do that, right? So I'm looking for something that's different in the downtown but will bring people into the downtown. And I think the concept that they provided definitely does that. And I think kind of the quality, I didn't realize it before we went through the bid process. The quality of work, I think, is going to be there simply because there's a lot of the buildings that are downtown were from Rob that had actually worked on those buildings, right? So I think from a community perspective, from a concept perspective, something that will invigorate and it will be a quality piece to our community. I just like that concept, and I came in, you know, didn't have any preconceived notions of what it is, but this is the one that I think would benefit our community the most. And they're partners throughout the community, you know, attest to their passion to make it work. And you know, so that's where I live.
Any other comments? Trustee Price?
I move to recommend adoption or, accepting the proposal from Sitewell. Thank you. For a redevelopment of 108, 110 West Main, and direct staff to prepare a redevelopment agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second by Trustee Yeska. Any additional comments?
Is that how it's done when there's
Yeah.
three choices? I guess I'm just unclear on the process.
Yeah.
Trustee makes a
You
motion
just
and then.
choose one. It can
Yeah.
be voted up or down. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Price.
Aye.
Trustee Yeska.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
No.
Trustee Anderly.
No.
Trustee Wilbrant.
No.
You have to call me as well.
Oh, President Nelson.
Aye. So it's a stalemate.
So we can make a motion for the other two as well to see what the votes are, so at least we know what those are.
If
So
you wish.
I would make a motion for the modal concept.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Anderly. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none.
Trustee Wilbrant.
No.
Trustee Price.
No.
Trustee Yeska.
No.
Trustee Johnson.
No.
Trustee Anderly.
No.
Then I would make a motion for the boxwood concept.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Anderly.
Wilbrant.
Yes.
Trustee Price.
No.
Trustee Yeska.
No.
Trustee Johnson.
Yes.
Trustee Anderly.
Yes.
President Nelson.
No.
Okay.
So we will revisit this at a later point. Moving on to unfinished business item B, Fox River Sculptures concept collaboration proposal with East MD. Trustee Anderly.
Are we gonna table, I mean, I'm asking, because I'm a little taken aback by.
No, the motion,
this meeting.
all the motions were, they
Yeah,
failed.
if I
So
do-
we will bring back this issue at a later point.
No. I mean, the trustee Lapjonis's input. So the first two that we talked about, she wanted to be present for. This, she was instrumental in arguing as well.
She mentioned those two items.
Okay.
If it would have passed, it would have passed. With her here or without her.
I understand. My question is like, never mind. I can
I didn't address individual items. She brought up these two with her husband having died a week ago. I didn't press her.
I'll discuss it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item B, trustee Anderley.
Okay, back in February, we voted to spend approximately $40,000 to $50,000 on some sculptures that would partner with East Dundee. And they have Caleb over on that side of the river has come up with a better proposal, and I can't even get to it. And he's got the price down to about $45,000. So our input would be $22,500 now. And we already voted yes, we would do it. Yes, we did.
No, the concept was presented, there was no vote on a dollar amount or participation, formal participation. There was a concept presented and the board gave direction to explore it.
Okay.
And I think, yeah, there's sort of informal support, yeah.
But we knew there was a cost coming. Is everyone comfortable with the 22.5? I guess is the question of the day.
Yeah, so I'm supportive of the project, and I think it's a great idea. And I don't know exactly how this comes in terms of vote-wise, but two things are, one is just making sure that these things are gonna stay upright when floods come through. So I just, how do we structurally make sure that these things are up to the conditions that they're gonna be placed under? And I don't know that doesn't necessarily say we wouldn't do it, it's just, how do we make sure that it's done in a way that is, structurally sound, and that could affect costs, I suppose. And then the other thing is, do we have any opportunity, when I read it, it sounded like we did, to have input on what the specific structures or sculptures are? Thank you. And I like the idea of the birds. I just feel like deer don't feel very sort of river specific to me, particularly in the middle of the river. That seems a little strange.
Well,
But other than, again, I like the idea. I just would be great if we had some opportunity to have some input on what the specific sculptures are.
well, it started that there was going to be the story, remember, and they were going to have frogs and so forth, and we kind of poo-pooed that because I was like, I don't want a frog over here. So then they came up with, their arts council came up with these sculptures of the birds and then the two deer, which would represent the two villages coming together in the middle. They've said they'll do all the promotion, they'll get the press there. If we're gonna do it, they'll put the cranes in. I don't know all the engineering plans, but they have figured out how to adhere them to those concrete bases.
Okay. So is there any opportunity for input on the specific sculptures, or not really?
Well, I suppose we could ask.
Yeah, when I read it,
That
it
was
sounded like
indicated in
it
the
was, yeah. I can't remember where exactly I saw it. I saw that it did say that what they proposed to feature, but I thought.
Expressed openness to revising the proposal should any design or logistical concerns arise from.
Okay, so, yeah. So I would be comfortable with voting in favor of it, but just, hopeful that we can have some input, so.
Additional comments?
My only comment is I'm not in favor of any collaboration. I would rather do our own, spruce up our parks or along the river. If we're gonna do it, I'd rather make it our selection and do what is best for our community as a whole. That's my only input.
I would argue that this is the best for our community as a whole, and
then you
I'm
vote that
always a
way.
fan for collaboration, so I'm just, but yes, I will hear.
Trustee Anderley, would you care to make the motion?
Okay, I move to approve spending $22,500 on sculptures along with the village of East Dundee.
Okay, motion. We have second by trustee Price.
Pursue an intergovernmental agreement with East Dundee.
As stipulated.
No, intergovernmental agreement with East Dundee.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Andalou?
Aye.
Trustee Bobrat?
No.
Trustee Perez?
Aye.
Trustee Uska?
No.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
I guess I have to vote aye,
President Nelson?
please. Motion carries. Moving on to item C, Finance Department Staffing Plan.
All right, pursuant to the direction that was discussed with the board back in June, former employee slash trustee Kathy Haley was provided a part-time role within the organization for finance directors, specifically to aid in some support, as well as to provide some direction and guidance regarding staffing and organizational changes. She has prepared her draft PowerPoint, which is provided to the village board, and if the board will indulge us, we'll kind of go through that very quickly. I don't know that we have enough available, but we can run through it.
Maybe we could just do it verbally?
Yep.
Thank you. Good evening. So as noted, there were several processes reviews since June of 2025 throughout the Finance Department and Human Resources. I think a common theme, as you would see throughout these processes and current challenges, are basically the outdated financial software, which is over 30 years old. And while the village has kept up with all the software upgrades, the software company has not kept up with current technology. Real-time reporting and analysis is a big challenge, and it creates inefficiencies and redundancies throughout all these processes. And then a key to this department is there's no department director. So the director would ensure continual review of financial processes to keep current with changes in government regulations and updated technology. I'm not going to go through all of these processes. I think there's a lot of detail specific to some of these processes, which is quite interesting, specifically to the lack of the director and the outdated technology. But again, that is the main theme across the board on all of these. The budget process is a big challenge, I will say, because of the outdated financial software. Position budgeting and functionality is difficult. There's a lot of Excel spreadsheets, which could create a lot of errors. Reporting and projections are challenging. Detailing comments and descriptions by line item cannot be included within the budget module, so they're added manually. And there is no workflow through this budget process, starting at the department request to finance director review, village manager review, village board review, which is key until it becomes the final budget. And without a finance director, there's a key assistance specifically to departments during this process. That position is very vital to department directors. Again, I'm not going to go through these individually specifically. I would be happy to answer any questions on them. At any time, you can reach out to me as well. For the human resource side, that's not tied to payroll for salaries, there is no software. So recruitment of candidates, we want to attract top candidates. It can be slow due to the manual process. Onboarding new hires is all manual. Managing employee data is manual. There's a lot of departmental procedures that are different across each department, and then just tracking policy management. I know you're already aware of the current departmental structure. I included that. There are currently 4.5 staff members in that department. The recommendation through this process would be to add 3 additional full-time positions. The full-time finance director position, along with a full-time management analyst position and a full-time fiscal assistant position, bringing that department up to 7.5 full staffing levels. I put a few comparable department structures in here. The Village of East Dundee, again, I think you've seen this. They have a total full-time staffing level of 7. And then I included the Village of Huntley, not just because I'm very familiar with them, but because finance is a key department for internal customer service. And you can see the Village of Huntley employee count is very similar to the employee count
with the Village of West Dundee, 102 in West Dundee, 118 in Huntley. Of course, we have a fire department. They have a separate fire taxing district, which is the difference in that employee count. Current staffing, I have also included the current staff, the assistant to the village manager, the finance manager, and the part-time finance assistant one, just so you can see the level and the amount of responsibility that they are currently managing at this time. And then I included additional duties with the proposed additional staffing, so you can see the Director of Finance, which I think is a key and a vital position for any municipality, management of overall administration and operations of the finance department, development of finance staff to ensure continual professional growth as content matter experts in related disciplines, monitoring of policies and procedures to ensure preservation of village assets and sound accounting control of village finances, keeping current with Government Finance Officers Association best practice policies and procedures to continue to contribute to improved government management and promote and facilitate positive change and recognize excellence rather than merely codifying current practices. Again, I'll state this position is vital to department directors to assist in tracking capital projects, which we know there's a lot in the pipeline here for the Village of West Dundee, helping with the matching grants, maintaining detailed payouts, tracking retainage payable, and working to ensure all contract amendments are tracked properly. Through the budget process, that position is a great resource for department heads just to help with their budget process. And then continual management of operational and system improvements within the finance department to streamline and enhance overall effectiveness. The management analyst position, I have worked in several communities where this position has been added, and I cannot state enough how this position has assisted with not just the finance department, with the management office, with public works, assisting with grant, looking for grant opportunities, helping with the budget process, preparing a budget and brief that is easily understood by the public, preparing an audit document that is easily understood by the public, assisting staff specific to West Dundee with some of the village's special events activities, communicating news timely and efficiently on the village website, preparing the village's newsletter and emailing communication to residents and business owners, conducting research and detailed program analysis. Just data analysis is a key to this position, and researching continually best practices and industry trends to identify process improvements. And then the full-time finance assistant, just to kind of centralize the miscellaneous billing and accounts receivable process, to also automate that process. That process is completely manual. Each department kind of does it their own way, so to pull that in and centralize it, to have more of an idea of what is outstanding, what is 90 days due, it would be beneficial, and to be able to cross-train in areas such as accounts payable, purchasing, water billing, to provide backup and support when necessary. There really is not a lot of, if any, backup if one of these positions isn't in the office. So recommendations, just to reiterate, would be the hiring of a full-time finance director, the hiring of the management analyst for administration and finance, which could cross amongst other departments, and that would assist with researching grant opportunities and some cross-training for some of the administration and human resource functions. Hiring the full-time finance assistant, in addition to the part-time finance assistant, to automate the miscellaneous billing process, and again, allowing the village to cross-train on current job duties within the finance department. And then the upgrade of financial software just to enhance every process across the board: budget, utility billing, financial analyst and reporting, miscellaneous billing, accounts payable, purchasing, and human resource, the portion that ties into the budget and the payroll system. Implementing, there is no automated timekeeping system. There's a lot of paper time cards still, and again, each department kind of does it their own way and flows it into the finance department, but to automate that so that there's better reporting, better tracking, and then to implement a human resource software to automate the recruitment and onboarding process for new hires, and FOIA software to assist in tracking requests and eliminate processing inefficiency. There's several other technology implementations, the 5-year capital improvement program, capital asset tracking and record retention, and that could be reviewed by a new director of finance. Just some additional comments. Automating manual process of the villages, they can save time, increase productivity, and focus on more strategic and value-added activities. Automation has the power to revolutionize and transform the way we work, enabling the village to achieve higher levels of productivity and innovation. New software databases will help eliminate duplication of work and build a standardization to how things are done so anyone could jump in and complete a task by following directions or reaching out to software support. The village is very fortunate to have staff in place that are dedicated and open to utilizing technology for its intended purposes and are willing to assist in creating these standard practices by upgrading and implementing new technology. Keeping the village hall fully staffed will allow all these enhancements and technology upgrades to be put into place and continue to keep running smoothly and efficiently. This will allow management the ability to cross-train staff and to create the ability to have backup as needed. So there's also costs in here. Of course, there's costs associated with all of this. Very estimated costs. Salaries could be an additional $265,000. With addition of health insurance, IMR, or FICA, that would be an estimated additional of another $100,000, depending on circumstances. The software could be for year one an additional $168,000. That estimate includes implementation, data migration, training, and then year one of maintenance costs. Our current annual maintenance cost for our current software is almost $27,000, and I think that could even be lowered with a newer, improved financial software. I did add some sample reports. Just reporting, to me is a key part of a finance director's position to create information to share with the village manager's office and the village board. Just some long-term fund balance projections, a 5-year financial forecast for the general fund, using assumptions that we think are practical for general inflation, for revenues, for salary increases, for insurance increases, to see whether, where our reserves are going to end up 4 or 5 years down the road. Again, it's a projection. Now, these sample reports are not specific to West Dundee. I think that's apparent. They're a different community, but I wanted to just show what could be provided for information. And then a 5-year capital CIP, tracking by funding sources. I think this is a great tool for the village board to be involved in during the budget process to see what those projects are, what is out on the horizon. Is your project out there on the horizon? Do you want to push it forward? If so, do we have funding for it? So it's by funding source, and it's a great tool as well. So, and then some detail of those projects. So, with that said, I believe this item is for information and discussion purposes. I took a lot of time and collaborated with Kathy and Kelly, and they were wonderful and extremely helpful, using my thoughts based on my 30 years of experience that have helped create some finance departments that I'm very proud of. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I know there's an agenda item that's being brought forward this evening on the finance director position to hopefully fill that position immediately. But again, I'm here and would be happy to answer any questions.
Appreciate the hard work by everyone, so thank you for doing that, and thank you for presenting it. So I think for this evening, obviously, we are going to talk about the recruitment for the director position. For the other elements, is that something we would then flow into the budget discussion, should the board wish to support the recommendations?
Correct.
For this year or for next year?
Next year.
So-
But we would like some feedback in terms of where we're proposing and where we're heading. Because,
You want that now, because
Well,
my
I
guess
mean-
is the board will probably ask for financial information attached to those. And we're essentially then having the budget discussion now. Are we prepared for that?
well, I think that's been part of the directive from the board, is to start these conversations earlier. And so here we are with a substantial adjustment that we are, that is being recommended, at least within the village hall from a staffing purpose. And so
Why-
this is in front of you, and whether it's tonight or a subsequent meeting in the next couple weeks.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we take this particular item and park it on a committee of the whole at a future point? Would that be okay?
It's fine. It's up to the
Everybody
board.
amenable to that? That way you can have time to digest what's been presented. There is a lot.
Just a couple quick questions. Kathy, what financial software are you using for the reporting when you say you're doing an upgrade?
So I've used several different, there would have to be a request for proposal process out there to determine which software is the best fit for the Village of West Indy. I've used Munis, I've used New World, I'm familiar with BSNA is what they're called. So those are very specific software companies to a municipal finance organization. All very good, but some of them are for a larger organization. Some would be more beneficial probably for someone the size of West Dundee. So, we'd have to do research to see what the best fit is.
And then the current software is 30 years old, or is that true?
MSI, yes.
Yes.
It was one of my first projects I brought into the village.
It was one of my first projects too. Keep in mind, they have upgraded their software, so it's not still DOS, but the finance
DOS.
software, it's not anymore. But they have not kept up with current technology, not at all.
When I first came here in October of 2021, they upgraded to the cloud at that time,
Oh, that's good.
2021. I work in the system every day, and it's a bit frustrating, but we always say, you get what you pay for. They're very responsive, but you really need to move away from that system. Frustrating.
Okay. All right, Joe, will you put this on a committee of the whole for this month or early next, please? Thank you for doing that. All right, moving on to item D, professional services agreement recruitment for finance director. This is under me, but Joe, I will turn it over to you.
Well, as part of this recommendation, and based on the previous conversations that we've had with the board, I was under the impression that the board really wanted to move forward with the recruitment for this position, so this is presented for you for your direction.
I think that's accurate. So I imagine the board has had a chance to digest this information. Any thoughts? Are we comfortable moving forward with the recruitment process?
A couple thoughts, right? So I think you do, the vacancy of not having the director has caused Kelly and Kathy to almost, they were looking at the birds up in the tower. I mean, you're lucky that these two weren't jumping off the top too with all the extra work that they had to do without the director. So I support, to do the director hiring. Feedback on the last time we did it. Frankly, I was underwhelmed with the candidates that came out of that selection process. And I don't know whether we're using the same recruiting team that produced the last two candidates.
We are, but remember, it's not the same position that we are recruiting for. At that point in time, we were recruiting for an assistant to the village manager position with a combination finance and HR responsibilities. This is strictly a finance director position.
Okay.
Is your comment on that, just kind of the process that we use for that position, or is it more a comment on the organization you know, that they didn't do a good job on
My,
that.
my comment is I think we should follow a process to recruit, right? The last time we followed a process to recruit, the output of that process was not very, very good. So I don't know what we need to change, right? I know I'm recruiting right now for for someone on my team, right? And it's all about SQL and Databricks. It's all about technology and incorporating technology into our organization. And the skill set that I look for people in the finance group tend to be heavily focused on a technology spin to what we're trying to accomplish. And I think that would benefit the organization if we have someone that is fresh and knows the technology piece. What I'm asking is, I'd be happy to volunteer as part of that recruitment process to give some thoughts. I've been in finance, for the vast majority of my career. I know, what, not in government finance, but in corporate finance, right?
So Trustee Johnson will include you as one of the leads for the process.
Yeah.
Just to,
I think it makes
just to
sense.
clarify, the pool depth that we were seeking for the assistant position was much shallower, and it was kind of a unicorn position that we were trying to create for the organization. This, as a director of finance, is a very deep pool, traditional. Most municipalities have this type of individual within their organization. So the recruitment pool is going to be much broader and deeper for the organization for the recruitment to pull from.
And I would agree the last one didn't go very well, but I think
Yeah.
in terms of the organization that we've used, we got Director Scott, we've got, our fire chief, our police chief,
Director
or not fire chief,
Babcock.
but police chief.
Director Mozinski.
So I mean, I think generally we've gotten really good service out of that process. So I support, that using that organization again, and hopefully this will go better, mostly because it's just a more typical common position. So
Would anyone care to make the motion?
Didn't see a motion. I did.
I can.
I move to authorize the execution of a professional services agreement with MGT for the recruitment of a finance director position in the amount of $26,000 inclusive of all expenses.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Anderley. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none. Madam Clerk?
Trustee Huska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Anderley?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbrand?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries. Moving on to new business item A, replacement extrication equipment. Trustee Wilbrand.
This is a fire department capital line item that we've discussed during the budget process. This is for extrication equipment. It's a package. It looks like we'll be able to save a little bit money from some competitors and beat a price increase if we act. That's pretty cut and dry.
Comments or questions? Trustee Wilbrand, you have the floor.
Yes, I would make a motion to approve the purchase of one replacement set of extrication equipment from Air One Equipment Incorporated in the amount of $36,568 to be funded through the General Equipment Replacement Fund.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Huska. Any additional discussion or comment?
I just wanted to point out that this option is substantially below some of the alternatives, and secondly, is identical to the existing piece of extrication equipment, so it makes for very good redundancy and ease of training.
Madam Clerk?
Trustee Wilbrand?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
Trustee Huska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Anderley?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries. Thank you, Chief. Moving on to item B, recommendation to authorize tree planting and tree purchasing. Trustee Huska.
It's that time of year again, but we've really scaled back with no diseases out there, and we've caught up with everything, so we're not looking at too many trees to be replaced this year. So we're well within and under budget.
Yeah, and in fact, like I said in here, we had some quotes coming in. I did get a quote from, for planting from Langton Group, who did our stuff last year, and they are $165 per tree. So it will be cheaper than that.
Awesome. Okay, comments or questions? Trustee Eskai?
Are we going with them then? And
Yeah, so that expenditure is gonna be, I mean, just to replace what needs to be replaced is gonna be like 6,600 now. And so I'm asking for headway up to 10, because what that is we're replacing in kind residential parkway trees that have been removed because of vehicular strike, disease, storm, whatever. And, but there are some, areas in the downtown, the Riverwalk, some municipal parkways that we would like to fill in, so, the request is up to 10. I don't think we need the full 15, but 10 we can, fill in some areas nicely aside from the homes.
Well, then I move to authorize Public Works to proceed with the 2025 Parkway Tree Replacement Program at a total cost not to exceed $10,000.
Motion.
Second.
Second by trustee Price. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none. Madam Clerk?
Trustee Esca?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Andalou?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbrand?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries. Anything else to share? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second by trustee Price. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.